Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I thought I'd do an impromptu Warframe video. I've got a few builds I'd like to show you that I've been working on over the past few months, but actually also years. So yeah, I've been playing this game since 2014 or so. I have a pretty lengthy track record. I wouldn't say it's spotless, but I mean I've been playing quite a bit. I'm at 1500 hours, I think, in game. Yeah, 1500. So yeah, and I recently got back into the game with the old peace update. I mean, I play regularly, usually around November to January or so. Like in the winter months, I generally how do you say, get back into the game for some reason. Um, but recently I decided to catch up on all the missed content that I hadn't gone through yet from Angels of Zariman 1999 and Sanctum and Atomica and stuff like that. So I've been maxing my Incarnate weapons, especially the old ones, because I already, I did do Viri, I did get some of the newer ones. That are more of a pain to farm, but they're actually quite effortless to evolve. But these ones here are a little bit more demanding. So you have to do Angel of the Zariman missions, and you have to kind of get headshots on the angels and stuff like that. So I decided to do them with Nova, right? And that's how I got the max now. Because basically what she does is she helps slow enemies down, get some headshots a bit easier and stuff like that. So that was all very nice. But then, I kept working on her build. For example, I added Neutron Star and Molecular Fission. Neutron Star just does extra heat damage, which you can then pump up further with Arcane Vitality. Nothing too special there, but Molecular Fission actually allows the Null Stars to renew, right? And the thing about the Null Stars is that they count as melee weapons, or as melee attacks, basically. So they build up your combo counter, which is extremely useful for maxing out the Inodem and stuff like the old... how do you say? The old Incarnate weapons, or the melee ones. Because I already have my 6 times combo counter now, and I can build it up within seconds, right? I just need to slash around. And so they die pretty hard. These are level 195 enemies. So yeah, no problem there at all. I have my melee Incarnon. I could do the other ones as well. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I could try to aim for headshots. Oh, wait, let me just... there you go. That took me a little bit. Just want to max my weapon, guys. Okay. I'm not good at headshots. My aim is pretty shit. Alright. We got a few more. Let's just do these with melee. And the combo counter just goes up and up and up and up. Yeah. So that's my Nova. Then I have my Mirage, right? I have a melee influence Mirage. Which is another interesting build that I learned from Moog, I think, like last year or maybe the year before. Which uses the Argonak in combination with the Dark Dagger to strip armor, but then that's based on her Sleight of Hand, which with Explosive Legerdemain, the augment for it, does guaranteed heat, cold, electricity, and toxin damage. And so just like the Null Star, the Sleight of Hand is actually counts as a melee attack, right? Only this one doesn't build up your combo, if I'm not mistaken, because for some reason the game does know that you're not using your melee weapon, but it's still affected by melee influence. And as you noticed, one of the elements that the sleight of hand, the explosive legerdemain, does is electricity, and it's 100% status chance, which means that it will proc and it will activate melee influence by 20%, meaning that it will spread to other enemies in the how do you say, nearby, within 20 meters. But not only that, it will also proc the other status effects that you may have been, that they may be hit with, right? That they may have procced. And then you have a Hall of Mirrors, which multiplies the loot that will explode. And then I could add even more with Dispensary, which I've subsumed over it. Just for shits and giggles. I mean, it's just thematically very appropriate in this case. So let's summon some guys. There you go. You can use whatever weapon you want, but we have the Furis. The Furis Incarnon. But you can use melee as well. No reason not to. So it's a little bit... how do you say? It really depends a little bit on... because it is RNG, right? It's not always as effective at... creating the right conditions. But usually you can get some nice status effects out of it. That will boost your damage, right? So with my Furies, I've added a specific number of mods there. I've added Galvanized Shot to buff its damage based on the status effects that are affecting your enemies. And Galvanized Diffusion, obviously, to synergize with her Hall of Mirrors, which gives her native multi-shot as well. And all that stuff. And obviously Galvanized Crosshairs and Deadhead, which is, it's an incarnate weapon, so you do need headshots anyway, but with all that multi-shot, like, they become exponentially easier to do. So let's give it another try, because the last one was a bit chaotic. And they also freeze, by the way, because of the... Okay, we got our Incarnon. Well, yeah, so as you can see, this was a lot more effective, right? So we barely even got to use our Incarnon weapon. Okay, so that was my Mirage melee influence. So the Furies really, like, is the cherry on the pie, right? Because it synergizes both with the Dark Dagger and the Argonak build, as well as with Mirage Prime's native abilities. How do you say, explosive legerdemain and dispensary, which I've subsumed over it. And so lastly we get to our third build, which is my one and only, my main Saryn, which I now have given a melee influence build. So the problem that she had, in my opinion, in my gameplay, was that her combo counter wasn't fast enough to use her incarnate weapons properly. So what I did is previously I used to use Breach Surge as a subsumed ability, but now I've added Nullstar. So Nullstar also takes care of her survivability, because it reduces incoming damage. So I could actually replace Primed Vigor with Primed Sure-Footed, now that I think about it. I also have Power Drift for extra power strength, ability strength. I have Arcane Continuity. I haven't maxed it yet. I don't really need it because she does plenty of corrosive damage. Should actually remove it. There's no reason for us to have it there. Because that raises our duration back to 155, which gives us some extra null stars. And then we have Arcane Vitality, because we also added Neutron Star from Nova, giving us extra heat damage. So Arcane Vitality makes that proc twice as well. And then we have obviously our dual Ikers. proccing electricity and with melee influence to do even more damage. So now we have basically Saryn. Saryn goes nuclear basically. So let me just. Where's my. And I already have my Incarnon form. I don't need to pay attention to Tennokai, but I can't do it. But everyone's already dead anyway. So this is even more. But as you can see, my Mirage is starting to rival my Saryn, but she's still holding up very well. Let me do another round because this was so much fun. Let me actually do. Wait, I don't want. Wait, why am I only getting 20 now? 19 out of 20. You can also recast Neutron Star and they will die even faster. You barely need to pay attention to your melee, but you can use it. I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know. And if you add like maybe like, did I actually add that? You should probably also add like condition overload. Maybe rather than wait, what do I have? Critical chance with stacks with multi. Okay, yeah, okay, that's also fun. Because obviously now the combo multiplier is up to high heaven anyway. So maybe condition overload isn't even necessary. Could I even edit anywhere? Maybe it needs another format. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe, well, something to think about. You know, none of these builds are complete, and obviously I'm not a Warframe partner or whatever, so I don't have any extra stuff that I can use for my builds. So I have to farm it myself, but so that's why I try to make do with budget stuff, like my Nova also hasn't maxed out anything. I have added some. Okay, so this one does have an Orokin Catalyst, but my Inodem doesn't, for example. So yeah, but life goes on, and we make do. So yeah, hope this was enjoyable. Hope maybe gave you some ideas on how to do these things. Obviously, look, my Saryn is not a beginner build, right? I've been playing her since 2014. She has 8 forma. 2 of them have been redone, at least I think. So I have a couple of dead formas in there buried somewhere that aren't doing anything. And still, like the Neutron Star I hadn't planned for, so now it's there. But yeah, hope that helped at any rate, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.